Hello, YouTube. It's Black Tiger Miner here. Welcome you back on Monday to get back to it, right? So, one of the videos I'm going to show you real quick is from Captain Stats, and he's talking about the benefits of the GhostDAG protocol and how some of the older cryptos use it. And if it's working for them, the new updated version is going to be great for us. Just listen to this real quick.
This leads us to this sort of second really important component of EC, which is chain selection. So for chain selections, we sort of follow a simple rule. Forks are bad, convergence is good, and sort of batching blocks together helps push the blockchain to converge. So we're using a blockDAG structure like in Phantom or Spectre so that we make use of all the computation that was sort of, or all the storage that was generated in a given round. And we call this set of blocks a tip set. So we're batching blocks that are output in a given round and using that tip set to mine off of, as opposed to mining off of an individual block. Again, why do we want to do this? Well, because we have multiple parents, we can get more sort of attempts at grinding or at mining off of a subchain, which leads to longer convergence. And yet, we also don't want to waste that storage that people have put out. So I'm repeating myself, but we deal with that by having miners combine their parents to try and rein the sort of forking factor in.
So, yeah, shout out to Captain Stats for this video. And I want to go to a video from Jim Skybone. He had a prediction. So if we see here, may or may not have Kaspa, Cardano, Ethereum factual video uploaded on my new YouTube channel as we speak. Check the link. And he's trying to compare Kaspa and Cardano, how Cardano took off and how Kaspa is in a similar state. But before we get to that, yeah, let's run that and then we'll come back to this other Kaspa video. So here we go.
Chart. Good evening and good night. Wherever you are in the world, I hope this finds you well. Today we're going to look at the Kaspa, Cardano, Ethereum fractals and assess whether or not there's anything still to glean from this very interesting repetition of Cardano's and Ethereum's 2020 bear market to bull market price action. So without further ado, let's dive in. So looking at the Cardano chart, one thing you'll notice is the amount of time that Cardano spent in this accumulation zone from where I took the Cardano fractal from the 2020 low up to the peak of $3 for Cardano. So far, Kaspa has been following this. We got a little deviation at this point, but it's not as clear cut as just comparing the fractals. Also interesting to look at the timing here. So one thing you'll notice is that Cardano spent about 33 days on the lower end of this accumulation range. And it took about 45 days for it to actually break out of it. So let's look at Kaspa now. When we look at these fractals, it's important to realize that these are just rough guides. It's just a interesting perspective on potential price action from a historical perspective, knowing that the market is very psychological and these patterns often repeat simply due to investor psychology and how people respond to certain patterns and price levels. So what we see here looks to be a deviation from the Cardano and Ethereum fractals. So looking a little bit deeper at the timing of this, we can go to the Cardano fractal, and there's something kind of interesting if you actually measure the time. Taking a look at Cardano, The fractal I took was from the 2020 low here and up to the peak. So zooming in on the area we are now in Kaspa, which seems to be deviating, let's zoom in here and actually measure it. One thing that is interesting is the amount of time that Cardano spent in this range was actually 44 days before it broke out to the upside. Coming down and looking at the Kaspa chart, we've been in this range now for about 35 days. So considering it actually took Cardano about 45 days to break out and get going, one could make the case that it's not actually invalidated yet. If Kaspa spent 45 days in this channel before it broke out, that would put it early September, as you can see here, at 45 days, for it to actually mirror the amount of time that it took Cardano to break out and move on to making higher highs. Also, taking a look at Ethereum, we can look at the amount of time that it spent in this range. And Ethereum moved a lot faster than Cardano. It took Ethereum about 38 days to continue up in a monumentous way after it cleared its previous all-time high on that cup and handle. This pattern looks a little bit different, a little more aggressive than both Cardano and Kaspa at the current moment. You can also notice the type of channel is different. On Ethereum, it had this upward channel, and Kaspa has this downward channel. So it's worth noting that both broke out. Currently, Kaspa has broken out and it's retesting the upper bound of this channel. When Ethereum broke out, it retested and then it took off. Whether or not Kaspa mimics something like we saw in Ethereum in 2020 before the 2021 peak, we can only speculate. So while Kaspa doesn't exactly mirror the type of accumulation so far that Ethereum had, it's more closely resembling Cardano's accumulation zone in that it could very well be sitting on the bottom end of this range before it comes up to do what Cardano did and break out in September. Whether or not that happens, only time can tell. And of course, this is only purely speculation. Before moving on, one more zoomed out look at the Cardano chart showing its sideways channel, time span of 45 days before it broke out to ultimately go on to set new highs. Now, coming over here to look at the stock market and Bitcoin to help understand the context of where we might be at present day, we can look at a few different things. We can look at the Fibonacci levels that the S&P 500 finds itself at right now versus where it was at in 2020 after the COVID capitulation before it went on to set new highs, and what ultimately led to Bitcoin breaking out and set its all-time high. So one thing you'll notice is that, and if you watched my first video, I mentioned this already, but I will do it again because it's important. So the first time that the S&P 500 came to test its all-time high, it failed. Tried again, failed. Tried again. And on the third time is when Bitcoin actually went on to set a new high. So it's important to note that right now, the S&P 500 has not even once tried to set a new high. And it really has only gotten just above the 786. And if we look back in 2020, that happened in June of 2020, and it failed and spent about 4 to 6 weeks, basically going sideways above the 20-week and 21-week SMA, EMA, also known as the bull market support band. So we are still above those moving averages here. One thing to notice is that Bitcoin, however, unlike in 2020, Bitcoin is now below these moving averages. It is, however, still above this support zone that it's been in since February of 2023, or more so March of 2023. Before that, it was resistance. Now it is so far holding as support. So back in 2020, Bitcoin was above these moving averages while the stock market was retesting these moving averages. So this is a difference between now, and whether or not this leads to more downside remains to be seen. But from what we see in the stock market is only doing what it did before. If it falls below these moving averages, then there may be reason to believe there would be more downside. Now, to piggyback on that bearish scenario where Bitcoin and the S&P lose support and start heading down, let's entertain that for a minute just to add some targets to the downside. And sometimes the best offense is defense, right? So even if you're bullish, knowing the downside potential is good to keep in mind. So if Bitcoin and the S&P lose those levels, potentially Kaspa could fall out of this cup and handle. And if it does, I would be looking at the 20 and 21 week SMA and EMA, as well as some of these lower fib levels. Now, if the stock market holds and continues up from here, like it did in 2020, it may give confidence to potential Bitcoin investors to get into the market. A lot of people are sitting on the sideline because the macro narrative obviously is very bearish, and there is some talk about potentially going into a recession soon. And so people are cautious. So what happens?
We're waiting for people to start back investing in Bitcoin, which I do agree with Jim Ski Bum that it's still a lot of resistance. But once Bitcoin investors pick back up, Caspa's going to go right with them. So I definitely think that Caspa might make a big move in September. It might be setting up for a breakout. Like he's saying, Caspa was taking 35 days for the breakout, and Cardano took 45 days. So there's still time in September for something big to happen. But historically, um, stocks do not do well in September. So it's kind of a catch 22 there. So either mid September or late September, because you can see the consolidation still happening where it's down and up and down and up. And today it's down, but look like it's starting to bounce back up. And we still been above this, what is that, 0.035. And if we zoom in here in the day chart, yeah, that was the last after the high. It's been consolidating right around here, right? It came down for a couple months, and then once it came back up, we've been maintaining this 0.035 pretty consistently. So that's also a good thing. And let's check the 4 hour chart. Yeah, because you can see here If we zoom out a little bit, like they say, whenever in doubt, zoom out, right? So this is 0.035, and this has been since about April. We went down and then we came back up. We've been maintaining above that. So people are saying it's going to drop down to 1 cent. I wouldn't be banking on that. I wouldn't even be banking on 2 cents, because you can see here for a while we've been above this 0.035. And if it was to, you can see RSI here, it's been down and came up a little bit and went back down then. So as September, I suspect the RSI would go down more and kind of level out. But if you can see here, we've been holding pretty steady, right? In this consolidation period. So I suspect there is a breakout coming soon, maybe at the end of September, maybe October. Since September is kind of slow, what is this? As long as we can maintain the 0.035, maybe bounce down to, I think the next one will be here, that 0.031, and maybe this 0.02627 ish. But I think that's it. I wouldn't even expect it to get out of the threes. Maybe bounce down to the low threes and then start to come back up. But let's look at the numbers real quick, and I'll let you guys get back to your Monday. So it looks like the addresses is 282,996. Looks like sharks come up a little bit. They added 6 sharks, a dolphin, 41 fish, and 113 octopuses, which is pretty good. Top 10 addresses is 17%. Top 100 addresses is 35.2%, and top 1,000 is 62.2. Let's look at the address information. Mexi's here, KuCoin, Gate, whatever this 4 and 5 are, continue to accumulate, and we'll keep an eye on those to see if it is a actual exchange listing. And then we'll look at the numbers. So for day, Kaspa is down 4.1%. In the hour, it's down 0.3. For the week, it's down 14.4. For the month, it's down 2.9, which isn't incredibly bad. And for the year, it's up 1,333. So we'll look at CoinGecko. CoinGecko's saying it's ranked to 52, so I think we're in the 40s, so we're sliding still. 0.0354, down 4.1%. Bitcoin's down 4.1%. Market cap is 720 million. Circular supply is 20.3 billion. Total supply is 20.3 billion. Max supply is 28.7. Wow. 24-hour trading volume is 7 million. I think that's the lowest it's been since I've been tracking this. Usually it's in the 20 million to 40 million range. So yeah, things are kind of slowing down. And fully diluted valuation is 1 billion. So we'll go to CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap saying 0.03534, down 4.38%. Market cap is 720 million, down 3.79. Total volume is 40, down 44.16 to 7 million. Current supply is 20.3 billion. Total supply is 20.3 billion. Max supply is 28.7. And I think we didn't check the dashboard. Let's go back to that real quick. Hash rate is 15.47 petahash. Percent mined is 70.26. Next reduction is 9 days. TPS is 3.0 and BPS is 1.6. And they're saying latest price is 0.03528. Trading volume here is 7.7 million. Market supply is 718 million. And their ranking is 208. It's weird that the ranking here doesn't move at all versus CoinGecko, it's going up and down. But I think that this number is not accurate anyway. So I guess that's what's going on. And also, I've been solo mining. So I was trying to see if solo mining is better than pool mining. But I'm going to keep solo mining at least for the next 9 days to get as many as these, I think it's 185 block rewards before the block reward reduction happens. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. So remember, Kaspa, Kaspa, Kaspa. It's been rough, guys, but hang in there, right? Anything worth having is worth waiting on. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. Okay, guys? And let me know what you think in the comments. And we'll look at the live coin watch. Live coin watch is saying 0.0354. Market cap 722 million. Trading volume today is 7.5 million. Volume to cap is 1.05. All-time high is 0.051. Last hour we're down 0.4%. Last 24 hours down 4.53%. Last 7 days down 14.59%. Last 30 days down 1.28%. Yeah, it's been kind of steadily here because we hadn't gotten down to negative numbers in the last 30 days. So continue to hold and don't give up. Last 90 days we're still up 119.3%. And for the year, we're up 1,253%. Circulating supply is 20.3 billion. Total supply is 20.3 billion. Max supply is 28.7 billion. And total market cap is 722 million. 24-hour low is 0.034. And 24-hour high is 0.0371. So there hadn't been much movement today. So it's still consolidating, which is a good thing. But let me know how you guys feeling about Kaspa. There's a lot of FUD. There's more FUD in YouTube today and Twitter, but the faithfuls are still holding in there. So put a like in the comment section and throw a rocket in there. I want to see that you guys are still hanging in there and we're still holding. Just don't give up too soon, guys. This is Black Tiger Miner telling you guys, remember, Kaspa, Kaspa, Kaspa. We are still here. Continue to hold and have a good Monday. And let's get back to the money.